help the city decide what we're going to do with these two parks, Kennedy Drive and, Kennedy Park and Alfred Park, just north of it. They made some recommendations in this plan that is in the draft stage right now. The most important change that they're suggesting, why we're all here, is they want to tear up Kennedy Drive. They think it'll make more options available to utilizing the park. I don't know if you've seen it. If you want, you can go to the Kenosha.org website, and it'll tell you exactly what the plan is moving forward with that. You can see the pictures and everything. It's been quoted in the plan that it offers more flexibility to what you can do with this park. Just by me standing here, I think this is one of the biggest, most open parks. I think you can leave the road right where it is. There's a lot of good ideas in that park plan. There's some rugby fields planned and jogging paths, stuff like that. I think there's a lot of good ideas there, but I think that plan needs to be inclusive of keeping Kennedy Drive right where it is, right? Right. So moving forward, the Parks Commission, which is made up of 5 aldermen, will be voting whether or not to approve this park plan. And if they vote to approve it, that's going to mean that that's going to be what's going to happen to, that's going to be the overall 5 to 10 year plan for what they're going to do here, so they can get started as soon as they want with ripping up the road. They can do it right away after that vote happens. So I'm going to try to keep everybody updated on when they're going to be voting. What we can do, we can email the aldermen, aldermen@kenosha.org. It goes to all 17 aldermen, the mayor, and the city administrator. So it's one email you can send out in support of keeping the drive where it is. You can call your alderman. If you go to Kenosha.org, it'll tell you who your alderman is, depending on where you live. You can call the mayor. Those are things you can do. You can show up, and an important thing you can do is show up to events like this. You can show up to those park commission meetings, and you're allowed to speak before at citizen comments. So once we get closer to that vote, I'll try to make sure me and others that are interested can keep you all up to date on when they're going to be voting. But for now, we just need to show the aldermen, show the mayor that we're going to fight for this drive. It belongs to all of us. It's part of the history of Kenosha. We don't want to see it go. Everybody here paid for, in some part, this road. It belongs to everyone that's sitting here. It's not for 17 people to decide to rip up overnight for whatever reason. So moving forward, we need to make sure we stay vocal about our desire to keep this right where it is. If we want to fix it, you got to mention that too. A lot of people say, well, there's speed bumps, all the potholes, so people don't drive too fast. It's always possible to repave it and put speed bumps up. So share your opinion with the mayor, with the alderman. You can do that with one email, aldermen@kenosha.org. There's some other people that want to speak, but I think until then, why don't we give everybody a round of applause for showing up today.
Woo!
The 5 aldermen that are on the Parks Commission, good question. The chairman is Alderman Gordon, Alderman Lamacchia, Alderman Wickman, I don't know who that guy is, Alderman Rose, and Alderman Rosenberg. Those 5 aldermen are on the Parks Commission. I believe that they can actually make up what goes on without the rest of the council. So,
are any of them challenged physically? Is there any old people on there? The guy who
Gordon is slightly physically challenged.
The guy that, I'm not being sarcastic.
I'm not either. I don't know.
I'd like to say something about Scott Gordon real quick.
I'm talking first.
Okay.
I'm asking you a question. Are there any old people on that council, on that committee, representing people who are challenged that can't walk far or?
Yeah, they all have constituents that are handicapped and such, and that's
Are
part.
there any of them on there? They don't care about them if they're taking off the road. Because when that road goes, a lot of people that are physically challenged ain't gonna have to.
Well, I agree with what you're saying, and that's part of, if you read the newspaper, that's part of what they're saying is if we take out the road, it'll make it more handicap accessible. I disagree. I think handicapped people, elderly people would prefer to drive down the road.
Okay, Alderman Rose is my alderman. I'm
Sure.
going to call him last week for something else because I'm against the trolley.
Sure.
He asked me about this, and I explained to him that and he wanted to know, and I told him because I'm handicapped, even if walk, I couldn't do it because we wanted the road open.
Okay, what's your name?
My last name is Christensen.
Okay, well thank you for showing up, and that's why a lot of us are fighting. With people who can't walk and who can't run, elderly people, people with back injuries, they like to drive, they like to scoot the loop. We've seen dozens of cars drive through here in the meantime. So thanks for bringing that up, that's a very important point.
I'd just like to say one thing about Scott Gordon. He's been spearheading the campaign for the Kenosha Dream Playground. He's been really helping out with that whole thing. Well, they moved it because they want to get it built sooner. The sooner they can have a fully accessible playground for not only children or just disabled people, it's for the people, for their grandparents, it's for disabled vets.
Yeah, the Dream Playground is a very good event, and very good cause, and you know most people here probably agree with that. But yeah, we're right now we're talking about Kennedy Drive. The playground was going to go here. The alderman who lives right here in this brick house didn't like it to go here.
Not a coincidence.
So he spearheaded the change. But now, yeah, it's going somewhere else.
Oh, to Corio?
John, did you want to say a few words?
I just want to thank everybody for coming. I've been involved in a lot of issues that have happened in the city for the last 30-some years, and at one point this city was going to give away Wolf and Butyl Park to build high-rise condominiums in there, and that was roughly in the early 1990s, and a citizens group, we all formed, and we got it to the point where it didn't happen. Our parks, our lakefront parks, are our jewels. Again, where else can you drive 15 feet away from Lake Michigan in Kenosha?
Well said.
I think the next place you can do that would be northern Wisconsin near Manitowoc and Algoma. I mean, this is a jewel, and we should keep that. And by everybody showing up, by everybody talking about it, and by contacting, it's really important that you contact the city officials, because for some reason they don't listen to people's voices anymore. They count more so on emails and Facebook, which is just a total another thing. But again, where else can you drive 15 feet away from Lake Michigan? And it may be only for 2 minutes and 22 seconds, as the alderman of this district has quoted saying that to me. But it's a lifetime of memories. I've been coming down here. My mother brought me down here when I was 6 years old. And this city has neglected its park system for such a long time. The reason that road is in the shape that it's in is because nobody's been taking care of it. I believe it's not been paved in 30 years, 25 to 30 years. Shame on them for letting our parks go that way. And this is our park. It's not just a neighborhood park.
Yep.
Our lakefront parks belong to the whole city, and we have to keep fighting for them. You can't give them away. They gave away a lot of our parks, and a lot of you don't even know what was given away. But we got to fight for what we have. And again, to drive 15 feet away from Lake Michigan is a jewel to this city.
Who doesn't have a memory of Kennedy Drive growing up? No hands? Yeah, everybody has memories of this drive.
Another thing I wanted to add real quick, and I'm sorry to interrupt. There's also a petition online for access to a computer.
Yeah, those memories too.
Change.org. So far we have close to 600 signatures on there, and there's a place where you can actually leave a comment. Go on there and read the comments. I don't know how many times I've read about first dates that happened over here, marriage proposals, from people that live still in this community. How many people got engaged, in this area? So go on there and sign that petition if you can. You just have to leave your name and your email address and read about others' memories. Who's got some memories they want to share? Anybody?
I'd like to say one thing, not memories about this drive so much, but the convenience of having this open. We go to the band shell a lot, and they're going to expand parking just on the other side there. But everyone that goes to the band shell and uses those two parking lots now will have to come in and then go back out the same way they came in. Can you imagine the congestion when band shell lets out? Everybody trying to get back out the way they come in?
Yeah, those are great points.
We should open up this right here.
Yeah.
That's what we should be pushing for, is opening this up.
They actually said that they're going to have a gate there, and they can occasionally lift that gate to let people go exit that way out. they're talking only 1 or 2 times a year.
Right, if this drive gets torn up, it's going to be grass and bike paths. No cars will be allowed ever to come through again.
We
So
got a bike path right here, we got one right there at 7th. And we can't have
I
one
agree.
by the lake.
I agree.
Bike paths right there in this neighborhood.
I agree.
Just so that I hear it again, and probably everybody, what was that email address again?
The email address, and this is a good email address because it goes to every single alderman, all 17 of them, and it also goes to the mayor and the city administrator, who are in charge of everyday operations. That's aldermen with an E, ALDERMEN at Kenosha.org. Aldermen at Kenosha.org goes to all 18. You only have to send one email. It's a very important email. Otherwise, you can call the city and they'll tell you who your alderman is. They'll tell you their phone number or their email address if you prefer that. So that's the biggest thing we can do right now moving forward.
Is that the same one the petition is on?
Yes, yes. And I just wanted to share the emails. The aldermen have been getting many emails in support of keeping the Kennedy Drive open. This side is a list of those people that have sent emails. And on the other side, you have people who are in support of demolishing it. There's 4. One is a city employee who now lives in Florida, and the rest are people that live on 5th Avenue, just so you can kind of understand how...
For the sake of posterity, what was the name of the person who threw the first log on the fire? What was the name of the alderman?
Oh, Alderman Haugard. He lives in this house right here, the brick house. He's been the guy kind of spearheading, closing it down early, 3 hours earlier than the rest of the parks. And he's the one who
Wants to
moved
shut it down
the
permanently.
Dream Playground away, and he's now the one who's spearheading ripping Kennedy Drive out. I've spoken to Alderman Haugard many times on the phone, in person about the situation, and that's what I can tell you from my personal experience in speaking with him.
Eric's been my alderman. He's been a great alderman. I disagree on this, on the drive. I live around the corner. I think you put my house on Facebook because I live near here or something. I don't know. But anyway, I'm Todd's son-in-law. Anyways, I do agree with keeping this going.
Well, good.
I like the way it is going now. I don't mind it closing. It was a mess. It was a mess. I don't know, about 10 years ago.
Sure.
We had all the noise there. The boom cars are kind of gone nowadays. So, anyways, Eric's a good alderman, and you seem like you're blaming him for living here. He's lived here all his life.
No, I don't blame him for living here.
And I can see his point of view. I know it's $2 million. I kind of don't believe that price of $2 million.
Yeah, the administration uses. They said it would cost what, $4 million to fix
They
the
said it'd
beach
be the
house?
budget for this
You
year's
can build
all
three
the
beach
roads.
houses with $4 million. It's kind of a ploy
Knock
that
it down
the
and build a
administration
cheaper one.
uses to scare people. Because when people say, "Oh, $2 million to repay this," ooh, let's tear it out. It doesn't cost $2 million to repave Kennedy Drive. I promise you all that. Yes, sir.
And people use it.
When they're talking about trouble in the neighborhood, it wasn't that many years ago that the uptown was full of trouble. And law enforcement moved in there and cleaned it up pretty good. And if there's any trouble down here, I think law enforcement can handle it.
And that's the thing.
If they can clean up uptown.
The cops are down here for this. They don't want to come down here for the gangbangers.
Yeah,
They're all around here for us, a bunch of peaceful people.
They cleaned up uptown pretty good. They put a lid on it. They can handle any troublemakers. I can't see any trouble here that this is a problem. They got to shut this road down.
Yeah.
That's a line of BS.
They don't want to do their jobs. That's pure and
Yeah,
simple. They don't want to be down here.
The law enforcement
I'm telling you, that's exactly what it
It
is.
wasn't a road. It was.
You know, it's really important again to stay involved. Let me just give you a quick example. Simmons Island master plan went through. I've been arguing with that. They're closing Simmons Island Drive. You will not be able to go down and come up. They're eliminating that. But see, all this stuff is done, and when it's done by less than 50 people make these decisions. And then you find out about it when it's kind of too late, so they say. But it's never too late until you have a contract signed. So it's really important to stay involved and be aware of what's going on. Online, you can find out what the agendas are for every meeting that's going on. And if you don't know about it, this is what happens. Because at all these public park meetings, there's not been more than 100 people saying, I want this and I want that, putting on their little green and red stickers. But who makes the final decision is city staff, Parks Commission. They make a recommendation. They hire this guy to come in. Not much is going to change here, really. If you're looking at it, not much is going to change. The road will be gone. There will be a bike path there. There will be a walkway going there, and they'll put some beautification places, but not much of it's going to change. But again, it's important to stay involved and pay attention, because when we're not involved and we don't pay attention, this is what happens.
And that's a good point. And yeah, that's a good point you make back there with the sunglasses and hat. This lady up here was talking about she's handicapped and she can't enjoy this park unless she can drive. So that's a good point. That's a good point. So when you remove this road, you're removing access to people who have to drive. And that's not what we want. We don't want to remove access to people who are elderly, have back problems, missing limbs, such.
What you should be doing is putting things in to draw people to the lakefront instead of closing it out. This park belongs to the
Well, if you remember, it started with closing this drive 3 hours earlier than any other park in the city. Fisherman's Circle, they started to limit access to there, no parking. Simmons Drive, this city is closing down our access to lakefront slowly but surely. I can't even imagine in 10 years, I can't imagine a park that you're going to be able to access the lakefront from if we continue on this course. So we need to make sure we let our voices heard.
You need to vote, and you need to vote these people out is what you need to do.
The long-term solution is to vote for people that are going to support. The short term is we need to email the people who are going to make this decision are the 17 aldermen. That's just the hard fact.
All of them, or just at 5?
There's talk about it possibly going to a full vote. We can't know that yet. But when it comes down to the budgeting, it's all 17 aldermen that have to choose. When it comes to decision making for the parks, it's only those 5 aldermen. So it could be overruled by the 17. It's just a matter of ordinances and how it's written.
They're getting contracts already.
Right.
I mean, they do this stuff behind everybody's back.
And that's
they're
the
talking like it's already done.
So what we need to do is we need to let those
driving all morning, all afternoon, all evening.
we need to let those 17 people know that the majority of people in this city want this drive to stay where it is, because I'm telling you, there's not many emails going out to aldermen that says please tear it down. It's just not happening. The emails are flooding in saying please save this road.
Do they listen to us?
You know that answer.
You get enough people together that are mad as hornets, and they start worrying about their jobs.
Again, if you get 2 people to vote, or you get 2 people to send an email, and they get 2 people, and they get 2 people, next thing you know, it's the majority of the vote. So your voice does matter.
Well, I mean, I've done it so many times in the past.
Let me just ask, who's emailed some of the aldermen, or any alderman? Now, of those people, tell me if you got a response from at least 10 of them back. Keep your hand up. Does that answer your question?
They won't email you back.
One, because he comes to my house.
I'd like to throw something out there.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a natural magnetism to the lake. Now, if they close this drive down, do they think that's going to decrease the traffic that they get in front of their house?
Up to 39th Street.
Oh no, I'll make sure to come down here and bust it. And I'm sure there's a lot of other people that feel the
I'll
same
tell you
way.
what, I think I know what you're saying. If you look at all these cars parked along 5th Avenue right now, this is what it's going to look like if the road is full.
Put up a no parking sign.
That'll be, you're right,
Yeah, no
that'll be
parking
nice.
sign.
No parking sign will be put right here.
That's easy.
Is there a way to get this up to a public vote?
The only way to get it to a public vote or a referendum, as they call it in Wisconsin, would be a decision from the aldermen, and they need a majority to favor that. This current council isn't a big fan of referendums. Some people want one for the trolley. There was one for the casino, but here.
So what is the petition? When you sign that gets turned into the council?
The petition that you can sign on change.org, every time 10 people sign it, all the aldermen get an email with those 10 people's names. At the end, when I decide that we've got enough and I close it, they're going to mail that petition to the council. And I'm going to bring it to the common council myself and give a copy to each alderman. The next meeting, I believe, there's meetings every Monday. Parks Commission is one Monday, full council is the next, and it alternates.
This coming Monday is full council. Parks meet every other week?
Parks meets every other week, correct. So this, I'm told this coming up Monday is a full council, so the Monday after that will be Parks. And you can show up at any meeting, even if it's not on the agenda, you can show up and voice your opinion on this or any other issue you'd like.
Can we carry signs like down to the band shell, or
Absolutely. No, we spoke with the police earlier. I notified the chief that we were going to be here. They have no problems. Actually, we were gonna. Anybody who'd like, we're gonna start walking in a few minutes, and we're just gonna walk down the sidewalk and get a couple blocks underneath us, get some fresh air, just so some other neighbors can see what we're here for.
How about going to the market with a sign? Can we do that on a
Absolutely.
Saturday morning?
The freedom of
Put a sign in your yard.
the freedom of speech allows you to carry this anywhere you want. Can't block traffic. There's certain rules. Can't be obscene, but this sign allows you.
Do we have paper petitions that we can circulate?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where do we get those?
Someone's got to start a paper one. I have one online. If there's a demand, I can start a paper one as well.
Oh yeah, we did that. We did that for something.
Get a nice tablet PC with a wireless connection, and there you go, sign it. That works.
Okay. All right on. So, does anybody else want to add any memories or anything about this issue at all? Anybody?
I can say I've been down here. I rent around here. I've been down here for almost 7 years. I've never had a problem. Never. There's not been loud noises. Even if I do hear the occasional car coming through, big deal. Never had a problem with the gangs. Nothing. So I don't know what that issue is. It's not an issue. It's not an issue. So
That's the issue they brought up when they closed it down at 7 o'clock. I wrote Voice of the People, and
it's just not there.
responded all the.
That's another.
I can see all you people are thugs, man.
That's a very good point that I forgot to mention. Voice of the People. If you live in Kenosha County, you can write one every month. You can send a letter into the newspaper. There's some guys here from the newspaper. Joe, raise your hand, say hi. We can send an email to vop@kenoshanews.com once every month, and you can say, look, I support keeping Kennedy Drive open. Joe's going to jot it down and put it in the newspaper himself a couple days later. Everybody here can do one per month. There's about 75 people here. We could flood the newspaper if we wanted to with Voices of the People.
How many do we allow?
One per month.
No, I mean, how many per topic? How many are
Doesn't matter. If all 75 of us put one in, they'll put them in.
So you're telling me they got two?
Well, that's because they eliminated people who wouldn't put their name down because they want to know exactly who. And I don't do voice of people because
Right.
people have long memories and they retaliate that you don't hear
I can Voice of the People, I sign my name proudly.
Yeah, you have to put your name. You have to give your name and address, but they only print your name on the Voice of the People and the city you live in. But that's a good tool we can use to get the word out.
So you can be brief, you don't have
Right.
to go into why or anything. You say you support it,
Sure.
in your name.
Absolutely.
Can you tell us what the time frame is now, what the city is looking to do versus what we can do?
If you go to kenosha.org, if you have access to the internet, otherwise you can go to the library and see the draft plan. The draft plan that suggests taking out the drive is in its draft form right now. Any day it can be put on the parks agenda and voted into law. So it's not on a current agenda, it's not up for a vote, but that could happen at any time. If it wasn't for us here, I'm guessing it would have been passed next week, but I hope maybe we've slowed things down a little bit.
A lot of people in the city are already talking like it's a done deal.
Yep.
A lot of them, they're hoping it goes through. You got to fight for something you believe in. Fight for anything you want to keep.
Good point. It's not a done deal unless there's a contract signed to rip out the road.
And then they can make another one to put it back in.
Hey, jobs!
Right.
I was going to say, a couple years ago, me and my daughter moved down to Texas in Houston, and I missed this lake so much. I mean, it was, and then the day we got back, that's one of the first things I did was we come back here.
Yep.
And I know it's it's not good for cars and bum, but she was 5, she loved it, and
Yep.
we come down here almost every day. We like walking on the rocks. It's just being that close to a lake is just, I think, wonderful.
Like, how many people in this country can say they live next to such a beautiful lake? Not many. So we're lucky to be right here where we are.
People from other countries that come here that visit this area say, oh my gosh, look, what is that, an ocean? They don't realize that there's such a huge natural resource right here. People, they talk about how beautiful it is.
Okay, guys. Anybody who's up for it, let's take a quick walk. We'll go around
Walking
the block.
I can't do.
There's signs over here, extra ones if you don't have one and you would like to hold one. Let's just take a walk through the neighborhood real quick and show everybody that we're out here. and that we're
Kevin,
peaceful.
do you know where Alderman Gordon stands on this personally?
I don't know.
You know, I mean, I haven't talked to him about it. I just actually became aware.
I don't know, but you can email him or call him. Sure.
Okay. No, it's just that I felt that there was a personal attack on the alderman, and I have mixed views on this situation. You know, borderline, but the alderman has always, for his whole life, known and strove to support this area.
So you believe that people that are beginning to personally attack him because of his stance on this, and that it shouldn't be personally against him, it should just be against the topic?
Absolutely.
Okay.
How do you feel about the topic? About the topic?
Yes. About the road.
I'd like more specific information on the costs to taxpayers.
So you're still on the edge. You don't know
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much. What was your name again?
Will Liggett.
Joel Dodge. Nice to meet you.